Up next, we have the Virginia Tech Hokies. They finished the year 6-7 after going 7-6 last season. In their third year under Brent Pry, Virginia Tech opened the season with an overtime loss to Vanderbilt, and that kind of started a trend of 5 one-score losses throughout the season. Their running game was good, their defense was good, but it just hadn't really gotten much better than last year. Bayshawn Tootin was their lead rusher. He had 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. But the real star on this team was Antoine Powell Ryland, who was a transfer from Florida. He recorded the third most sacks in the country with 16, and he was sixth in tackles for loss with 19. So he was the real star for this team. But for them, their issues were close games. They just couldn't get stops in close games, and that's why they ended up losing a lot this year. Their only double-digit loss was to Clemson. So they lost 7 games this year, but 6 of them were single-score games.
Yeah, I mean, this is a program that we've just seen continue to decline each year since Frank Beamer retired. And it's hard to see if they're going to be able to improve in the future. I mean, really, the most interesting thing about Virginia Tech right now is the Enter Sandman intro at the beginning of the season. Because after the first few games, it's like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, they were still doing okay, but the last month of the season really hurt them. They had 3 losses in the last month of the season, and then they lost their bowl game. So really 4 losses at the end of the season. They went from being a 6-3 football team with a chance to have a winning record to 6-7, losing a bowl game. And it led to a lot of coaching changes after the regular season. They fired their defensive coordinator. So for them to get back on track, they're going to have to make some changes, both with their coaches, but also in their personnel. I think it's a disappointing year for them. I think they kind of had hope. They'd had some losing seasons, and they had a winning year last year, and they were expecting to do a little bit better this year. So for me, I gave them a C-.
Yeah, just a really disappointing year. And they were on the cusp of being able to have a good year, but they didn't do it. So I gave them a C- as well. Okay, as far as their record goes, they were bowl eligible. They did not have a winning season, so they get a C+ for that. And for their 2024 Nitro Show final grade, the Virginia Tech Hokies get a C.
And they're not doing the hokey pokey, and they're not turning themselves around.